Yes.
The Hove update.
Now, as recently as of yesterday, and Reggie, I'm going to pivot to you in a second. Rock Nation actually held a meeting with Jay-Z's attorney. I think it's Shapiro?
Alex Spiro.
Alex Spiro, I'm sorry. Thank you. And they invited members of media to come and listen to new facts and updates of the case.
Mm-hmm. So there have been, it has been moving pretty quickly. Since the accusation last week, which we covered, they held the press conference, and this is what our outlet picked up. Shout out to Vibe Magazine, shout out to PMC. So here are some direct quotes. And basically, Alex Spiro, he's representing Jay-Z. So he was kind of telling their side of the story and the research that they have done, and essentially poking holes in the victim's story, for, lack of a better phrase. So these are just some examples. There's a bunch. But they would say things like, in the press conference, he said, Jane Doe's description of the home doesn't match any of Combs' properties at the time. The location of Jane Doe does not exist within a 20-minute drive from Radio City Music Hall, as she claimed. The VMAs ended at 11/11, and based on the timing in her lawsuit, they said that to do everything that she did, that she described in her version of the story, that means she would have had to be there for 37 minutes in total. So they did all these details. I'll read one more. There's a bunch. If you want to hear more, I'll read it, but there's a lot. They said the Jane Doe claimed that she met with Benji and Joel Madden last night, but they were on tour at the time. So it's a lot of it was
inconsistencies.
A lot of inconsistencies. Yeah.
Even her dad came out and was like, yo, I don't remember that.
They couldn't verify it, yeah.
I live about 4 hours away from her. I feel like I will remember this story. Yeah. And none of this is ringing a bell.
So was it that he doesn't remember or that he couldn't confirm? Because I feel like that's slightly different.
He said that he could not verify the event at all. He said, he specifically said, I would have remembered. He said, I'm getting a little bit older, but I would have remembered an event like that. Mm-hmm. Also, this Jane Doe sat down with NBC. She asked to not be taped, so we don't see any video of her or what she looks like. But again, the same way Reggie just spoke to, there were still inconsistencies in her sit down with NBC. And yes, it's looking like a bunch of hoopla as of right now.
We need harsher punishments for false allegations, in my opinion. I'm always going to stand on that, bro.
I fully agree. You could ruin somebody's life, literally their entire life, and they didn't do anything wrong. I'm not just I'm not saying for Jay-Z yet, because we don't, it's still developing, but for athletes, when women accuse them, you literally, they could lose their spot on the team, and now their reputation is tarnished. You ruined their entire life because you lied. I agree, harsher punishments for victims that lie. I mean, people who aren't victims that lie about it. Why? Yeah. That's so crazy.
Throw the lawyers in there too, because these lawyers, they know what's a winnable case. They know what's actually sustainable evidence or sustainable claims. So you should be tolerant to these things.
Y'all remember the story? It was a story in 2006. A woman falsely accused 3 Duke lacrosse players of rape in 2006.
Oh, yes. I just heard about
this. She falsely accused them and essentially ruined their life. Yeah. And she admitted to it because I think now she's locked up for another case. I want to say maybe
But not for lying about this?
No, she's not in jail for lying about this. She's locked up for something else. But she did an interview and she admitted to lying on these 3 lacrosse players about being raped. It never happened. It didn't happen. She now is showing some type of remorse. I'm going to look for the video. But these are just situations that it keeps coming up. And I think because there is no repercussions, because in most cases, the people who make these claims, or some cases, they make these claims against famous people or people who have something to lose, and there's no repercussions to them. Yeah. Right? That person that you threw that on, Jay-Z or anybody who's ever been falsely accused of anything will always wear that publicly. They're always going to be associated with that. If you go on Google and type in these headlines, it's always going to exist. Yes. So even if you get proved, innocent and you didn't do anything, it's still a stain. And I think,
And most importantly,
it's crazy.
This doesn't help the real victims of people who have actually gone through these things.
Yes.
That's the biggest disservice within all of this. There are people that actually go through acts like this, and they don't see justice. So when we do this, it's bro, why would you do that when there are actual people going through this stuff?
Yeah, because it's I literally just agreed that the people lying, it's terrible. They ruin people's lives. But I do see, it's people who don't believe victims, they always bring up like, see, you know, like women lie. You look at this, women lie so much. Like it just pits so much like negative energy against both sides.
Yeah.
Like let's say someone came forward and I believe the victim, the woman, but then a guy I'm talking to is like, you know, women lie, right? Like, look at this case. So that's why what Alex just said, like, they make it so bad for victims who are really trying to speak out and be brave.
Yeah.
I just hate it all around. Like, please, like.
I found a clip. This is more than 18 years after the Duke lacrosse allegations. The lady who made these allegations, her name is Crystal Mangum. She admits that she made it all up, and you can hear it from her.
I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't. And that was wrong.
Crazy.
It's 2024, man. Now it's wrong.
I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me. And made up a story that wasn't true because I wanted validation from people and not from God.
Yeah, they always gonna bring up God when they do some bullshit. But to make those type of allegations 18 years ago, those men had to live with that for 18 years. I'm sure they lost a lot. The trajectory of their life will never be the same because of those allegations. And maybe because she's already locked up, she's like, fuck it, got nothing to lose. Might as well come clean, right?
Let me go for the gusto.
Like, fuck it. Like, what do I have to lose? Like, all I have is time to reflect on all the bullshit that I did. So yeah, it always makes cases like this very, very tricky. But yeah, it's just, that shit is just sad. Like, they need consequences, bro.
Yeah, there's no like official consequences yet.
I don't think so.
Can't the person accused, like after they admit, can't they countersue them for
for defamation and go after them for but again, a lot of the times people who are making these claims, they ain't got nothing
they got nothing to take.
You got nothing.
It's sad.
That's the fucked up part.
And you file these things anonymously, so you're a ghost. You don't exist to the public. I don't know who Jane Doe is that said Jay-Z or anybody did these disgusting acts. I don't know who you are, right? Like, yeah, it's just nasty. So hopefully Hov will continue to fight and other people will continue to fight. I don't know how this is in relation to Diddy. I do think it's very important that Jay-Z, his representation, actually acknowledged Diddy for the first time. Everybody's been looking for Hov since all of this Diddy stuff has been happening.
Right.
And we haven't heard anything. We saw Hov, I think he was on a football field a few weeks ago, and then we seen him with his wife and his daughter, had a movie premiere, and we haven't really heard anything else. But his lawyer did say, hey, Diddy and Jay-Z, Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter, they are just business associates. They are not friends. They have nothing to do more than just brunch it up. Like, these are claims from Jay-Z's representation. And so I thought that was really interesting because, and I'll be honest, I never associated, until the brunches, I never associated Jay-Z and Diddy together.
I completely disagree. Oh yeah, that's fair. And again, I'm not putting anything on Jay-Z's jacket, especially from all of these new details that we've received today. It looks like this is a bunch of bullshit, right? But come on. Puff, Hov, you and Diddy was cool. Like, what are we talking about?
Can I read the quote?
Can you please, Regi? Can you please?
The lawyer said, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years. Just like in all professions, people know each other. At music awards, they support each other. You go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's how professions work.
Like,
that's what his lawyer said.
Hov, I'm with you on witchcraft
like,
of
don't
events.
lump us together.
Yeah, don't lump us together. I'm with all of that. I'm with false claims not being true and trying to demean my character. I'm with all of that. I understand where you're coming from, Hov. This right here, you don't got a lot of us like this, bro. You and Puff been close for a while.
No, I mean,
I ain't saying you guys are besties, but just leave it at a business relationship.
He's trying to say I was not at the freak offs. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Without
was not
directly
at
saying
the
it.
freak offs.
Well, then say that.
Never freaked off.
Then say that. Because that's what everyone else is saying. They're being clear and separate, right? They're saying, I've never been to the freak offs. I've left at a certain time. For him to come out with that statement with his attorney and say, yeah, nah, me and him just be selling Ciroc together. No. No, y'all don't. Please.
But you guys were like, actually, like,
y'all were cool.
Yeah.
Come on now. Let's not do that.
I get why his lawyer said it though.
I get it. I get distancing yourself from Puff though. I totally understand that.
But it's like telling the public is like crazy because it's like, yo, we were there.
We saw it.
Like 30 years of
we saw it.
Just hanging out. You guys being the top two guys. Like,
come on, y'all. We saw it.
And they did drop like those legendary photos at the brunch. I think those are some of the hardest photos that ever exist.
Great photos.
And it just represented Black excellence, especially
absolutely.
at that time.
Black billionaires in our space.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I ain't mad at that. Yeah. I do also love, because I'm learning a lot about Jay-Z through this process. Like, I didn't know he was Bruce Wayne. I love how he talks. Like, his statements read like he's ready to save Gotham. Or the Joker, however you read it.
Himself.
But he did have a statement in response to some of these allegations.
Yeah.
And this was last week. So this is prior to the press conference that his lawyer held. But he wrote, today's investigation reports proves that this attorney, Busby, filed a false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in the court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. All right, that's Bruce Wayne right there.
Yeah, right there.
We fight from victory, not for victory.
Oh, you heard
this was over before it began.
They say he a rapper.
Damn, another quote.
This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon.
I can't wait for his next verse.
Yeah, man. I just Sean Carter, aka Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Shout out to him, man.